So this would definitely be one of the top reasons to own a Harley Street Bob.
Alright everybody, what is up, As always, thanks for stopping by to another video today. As you can see, we are here with my 2022 Harley Davidson Softail Street Bob, and today we're talking about 3 huge reasons why you might want to own a Harley Davidson Softail Street Bob. So if you guys have been tuning in for a little while now, you know I previously made a video of some reasons to avoid this motorcycle, and that wasn't to complain or say anything bad about the bike. I think it's just really important of things to consider when you're looking at getting a motorcycle, what you're going to do with it, why you want it, what's going to fit your needs. And in that video, just went through some of the reasons why you might avoid that bike if you are looking for particular things from your motorcycle experience. But today, like I said, we're going to talk about 3 huge reasons why you might want to actually own this bike. And there's plenty more reasons than that I've enjoyed over 3 years and 15,000 miles with this motorcycle. But these are just 3 really huge ones to consider, really 3 huge great benefits to owning this motorcycle. And of course, before we get started, go ahead and drop your comments down there on some of your best or favorite reasons to own a Harley Davidson Street Bob. I will be curious to hear everybody's feedback and comments down there on some of the best reasons to own this motorcycle. So let's go ahead and dive into these 3 reasons to own a Harley Davidson Street Bob. These are in no particular order. We're going to stay in the garage for the first 2, and then we're going to hop out on the bike. We're going to hit the street for the final one. So getting right into it, the first reason to own a Harley Davidson Softail Street Bob is the price. Now, that may seem a little bit crazy considering a lot of people like to complain about the prices of Harley Davidson motorcycles. But at this point in time, this is the cheapest Softail that you can get. So if you guys have been paying attention, Harley did recently lower the price of the 2025 model year Street Bobs. So these are sitting at an MSRP of $15,999 for the 25 model year, the cheapest Softail that you can currently get. So if you think about this price from 2 different perspectives here, yeah, the current MSRP is the lowest priced Softail you can get. We don't know if that's going to change in 2026 as of this video being made, but you can pretty much guarantee that the Street Bob will remain the lowest MSRP Softail that you can get. But another thing to consider with the price of this bike is if you look at the secondary private used market, there's a lot of great deals out there, a lot of very low mileage, low priced Street Bobs that you can take a look at. Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, private deals. I have seen Street Bobs at this point in time, again, this is around fall of 2025 that this video is being made. I've seen Street Bobs out there priced at around anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000 on the used market, and those are very low mileage as well. Some of those I've seen around 500 to 1,000 miles, sometimes 2,000 miles. But that's one of the great things about the Street Bob right now at this point in time is it is the lowest priced Softail you can get, which is a huge reason to buy or own this motorcycle. Again, it is the lowest MSRP bike at the dealers right now from the factory, and you can find huge savings, really great deals on the private market for these bikes. So price and value, in my opinion, is a huge reason to own or buy a Softail Street Bob. Next up, reason number 2 to own a Harley Davidson Street Bob is it is, in my opinion, the most flexible, customizable platform of a motorcycle that Harley currently has. So what do I mean by that? The essence of the Street Bob is a very minimalistic, stripped down bobber cruiser style motorcycle. It comes as a very blank slate. Now, as you guys probably know, the Sportster used to kind of take that role of a totally blank canvas, turn it into any style bike that you may want. But the Street Bob has really kind of taken that now that the original Sportster has been discontinued. So, like I said, what do I mean by the most flexible and customizable platform? Well, because it is such a blank slate from the factory, you can essentially turn this bike into anything you want. I'm talking anything from a bobber, the essence that it currently has. You can strip it down even further, turn it into a very minimalistic style bobber bike. You could turn it into a bagger, somewhat similar to what I have going on with my setup here for traveling. Bags in the back, a little bit of wind protection up front. You can turn this into a little bit of a mini bagger for traveling, or you could even turn it into a performance cruiser. It's the lightest weight Softail out there. You can throw some big engine upgrades in there, invert the forks, throw some dual discs on there, really turn this bike into anything you want. So why do I think that differs from some of the other Softails out there? If you go down the lineup, if you think about the Lowrider S, that bike is very specifically performance oriented. I don't think there would ever be any reason to turn that into a bobber or a chopper. It already kind of has that performance feel. If you're gonna buy a Lowrider S, you're really looking at that segment for a very performance oriented bike. Same thing with the Lowrider ST. You've got your bags, you've got your fairing, you've got the 117 at this point in time, high output engine. Very performance touring focused. You're not gonna really strip that bike down and turn it into a different style bike like a bobber or a chopper or anything like that. If you continue down the lineup, you've got the Heritage, a very classic looking bike. Yeah, you can do some performance work on that. But again, you're not really gonna turn that into like a bobber or a chopper, and it already kind of comes the way you're gonna wanna set it up for traveling, for example. If you think about the bags, the windshield that that bike comes with, really kind of lends itself specifically to that segment of kind of a Softail cruiser touring type of bike. And again, if you think about some of the other Softails, you've got the Breakout, you've got the Fat Boy. Those bikes really kind of lend themselves to a very specific type of niche. The Breakout kind of has that bobber chopper look, but that's not something that you're really going to turn into a bagger, in my opinion. You can do some performance work to it, but doesn't really lend itself to touring or turning it into like a bagger type cruiser. Again, same thing with the Fat Boy. Not to say you can't do all of those different things with the Fat Boy, but it's just not something that I commonly see that done with. In my opinion, the Street Bob really gives you the most blank slate, the most blank canvas to really do anything you want. Turn it into a bagger, bobber, chopper, all of those that you wouldn't necessarily do with some of those other bikes in the lineup. Let me know what you guys think of that. Let me know what you guys think of the Street Bob as a totally blank canvas, blank slate to do whatever you want with. So that wraps up the first two huge reasons to own a Harley-Davidson Street Bob. Let's go ahead, hop on this thing, take it out on the road, and I'll tell you reason number 3 to own this motorcycle.
Alrighty guys, so we are on the bike now and talking about number 3, and one of the biggest things that I like about owning this bike, one of the biggest reasons in my opinion to own this bike. So at this point in time, this is the lightest Softail that you can get, coming in at around 640 pounds and just absolute tons and tons of power with the Milwaukee 8 114 or 117. Obviously the 117 came in the 2025 model year. I'm on my 2022, which is the 114, but I'm sure there's a lot of science that you could probably put into this somehow, and understanding the power to weight ratios on a very scientific basis. I will take it on a little bit more maybe of an anecdotal basis. So to put that in perspective a little bit, like I mentioned, this is the lightest Softail in the lineup that you can get, and it has that 117 in it, or obviously the 114. And the perspective comes when you think about all the other bikes in the lineup that have basically the same engine or engines. It's pretty crazy that you have a bike so much lighter than all of those with basically the same power plant. So if you think about like this model year, for example, a 114 in this bike that is 640 pounds, all those model years, even the baggers had the 114s and even smaller engines at the 107s at those point in time. So you think about that engine, and you've got it in a bike that's 640 pounds, but you also had it in bikes that were like 200, 300 pounds more than that, with the same engine powering those such bigger bikes. It's kind of cool when you put it in perspective like that, the power to weight ratios. If you've got the same engine powering an almost 900 to 1,000 pound bike in a 640 pound bike. So that's one of the things that I really love about this bike, is what keeps it so quick and powerful and snappy is very powerful 114 or 117, depending on which model year you got, in the lightest bike in the lineup basically. And if you think about it now in the model year 2025, you've got a similar scenario where you've got a 117 in the bike, and then you've also got the 117s in some of the baggers, the street glides, road glides. Yeah, I know they are tuned a little different obviously, but still it's pretty impressive when you've got the same power plant in such a smaller bike compared to some of those. So that'll go ahead and wrap it up for now. 3 huge reasons to own a Harley Street Bob. Again, the price, it is the cheapest softail you can currently get from an MSRP perspective, and also the reseller market is just absolutely amazing with these things right now. Some of the cheapest ones you can get are out on the private market. Number 2, easily the most customizable platform and blank canvas that Harley currently offers. You can turn this bike into anything you want: bobber, chopper, bagger, cruiser. Lends itself to literally anything a lot better than every other softail in the lineup. And then third, like I just mentioned, the power to weight ratio. Whether it's the 114 or the 117, depending on model year, the bike's around 640 pounds, same power plant as you've got in some of those big, huge baggers and other options in the lineup. Amazing power plant for a 640 pound bike. So as always, drop a comment down there. Let me know some of your huge reasons or best reasons to own a Harley Street Bob. I'll be curious to hear some of that feedback down in the comments. But we're going to go ahead and finish this one up. As always, ride safe out there, guys. Make it a good one. It's the Moto John. We'll see you all down the road.